Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get a Buzz with Art. I'm Ron Episcopo, your host. And today I have two local artists with us. Don't adjust your TV. They are twins. And I have Holly and Heather Blanton. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
So we're going to talk a little bit about your background with art and your involvement with the art. And we're going to look at some of your pieces today. So tell us how you got involved with art.
Well, we've always been artists, like most people. You come out of the womb and you're ready to start doing murals on your walls as a child. And we weren't the kind of kids that wanted to go out and play too much with our friends. We were always more interested in doing art projects inside of our house. And so everything became mediums to us. The walls, of course, my notebooks all through school when I should have been paying attention and taking notes are all sketchbooks.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be an artist. Holly wanted to be an artist, and we were strongly discouraged because my father believed that art was not a job, that it was a hobby. And so I decided that that was going to be my job, and I was going to figure out a way to make it happen. And that's what I do. Every day I get up, I go in that studio. Doesn't matter if I'm selling or not. I make work and stack it up against each other.
That's fantastic. I find it really interesting that twins would have the same passion. Mm-hmm. So did one develop before the other one in terms of art passion, or you just both went into it?
Well, Heather started first because I have two kids, and so I was really busy with that for a while. And she went to the Art Institute in Fort Lauderdale, and then she moved up to Manhattan, and she started producing art up there and showing up there. And then I would just go work some of the shows for her just so I could be around it. And then it got to the point where I said, I want to do this too. Mm-hmm. And I started painting just because I needed something. I don't watch television, and I needed something to do. So I started in like an emotional outlet. So I started painting, and then people started buying them. And at first I just made my car payment in paintings. And then about 3 years ago, I made the dedicated move to only producing artwork as my job.
And I think, to me personally, you could win 100 awards, but when someone actually puts money down and buys, to me, is the best thrill there is. It's like, wow, somebody,
Definitely.
somebody paid for this.
Yeah. There's validation that your work is actually not only liked and valued, but worth thousands of dollars. So that is a high like nothing else.
Exactly. And a lot of times with shows, if our viewers don't know, it depends on the judge.
Yeah.
If the judge is into your style,
right,
you have a high probability that you might win an award for that particular show.
Totally.
Judge doesn't like it, you're out.
And it's very difficult. You're never going to find an art style that everyone likes. And that's what I try to remind myself is there's people who are like, oh, I could do that, but they don't. And they wouldn't, because as an artist you have to put yourself out there to people who maybe don't like your work or your style, and have an open forum to discuss their dislikes with you. So you really have to have a thick skin and be like, yes, it does have validity, and maybe not everyone likes it, but there are people who do, and that's the people that I'm focused on.
Well, and that's the great thing about art is it's so subjective, because one person will hate it. When I first started doing abstracts 10 years ago, I was in a show at Florida Theater, and people would walk by and they wouldn't even look at it. They say, "Oh, my kid could do that," and I said, "Well, you need to put a brush in your kid's hand."
Yeah,
you know,
great answer.
Yeah. And I know people who are technically fantastic painters who said, "I wish I could do an abstract," because to come up with something out of nothing, it's not as easy as maybe people think. You know, to put the balance in there and everything flow and work together is not something that's like super easy to do. And yes, I always encourage people, if you think you could do it, or even if they don't, I said, you should try it. Because, I said, and not be attached to the outcome, because I said, Kandinsky's famous, and he did stick people. People say, oh, I can't even do a stick figure. I said, well, you never know what you can do until you try. And for me, like I said, it was an emotional outlet, and it's therapy. So.
And you brought one of your pieces with us.
Right.
With you, I'm sorry. Can you give us a little background on this?
I do a lot of waterways. We sell out of Stellar's Gallery and Plum Gallery down in St. Augustine, and I'm very influenced by water. That's one of the reasons why I live here, is so I can live close to the water. And just for me, there's so much chaos in the world, and for me, water is just really serene and healing, and so I do a lot of that kind of art. So I'll just do these waterways, and I do texture at the top and,
Very nice.
you know, vary the color schemes.
Okay. And we're going to switch now and take a look at Heather's work.
My work, as you can see, is much more chaotic than Holly's. Holly's very serene and calm, and I am the anxiety-ridden, freakish twin who thrives on the energy of the racers and the will to win. And I'm really exploring that in human. What I love most about sports is the fact that there isn't any cultural or language barriers. When I lived in Manhattan, you could see people who couldn't speak, and had nothing in common except for the fact that they loved soccer. And they would meet in the parks and they would play all day long and bring this new bonding experience that they wouldn't have ever come to without the sports.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm not really painting. I have done commissions for like football players and things here, and I sell gallery in Boston quite a bit. And but I'm more focused on like the running of marathons and cycling and maybe the little lesser known but more sports that more people actually are active
Wow.
participants in.
And our third piece that we're going to show today is a collaborative effort between the two of you, which I'm going to find very interesting. Maybe our viewers do too, that we have two different styles and yet you collaborated on this triptych, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I came up with the idea of starting some collaborative pieces because Holly's so great at matching designs. She knows that she's got her fingers on the pulse of the color schemes that are in the designers. She's very serene with her visuals, where I thought maybe we could come together and kind of create a push and pull between the two styles. And it's been a new plane for us. It's taking us out of a comfort zone and into a new realm. And I believe as a creative person, you have to do that continually. You can't get too stuck in your own style. You have to be exploring other options and other ways of creating art.
And that leads into a collaborative exhibit that's coming up, right?
That's
Can you
right.
tell our viewers about that?
It's at Hobnob in Unity Plaza. Stellar's Gallery is putting it on. It's an annex space in Riverside, and there's a really cool gallery run by a great lady, Ellen, and she asked us to have a show there. This is our second joint, dedicated twin show, and so we have some of our own pieces, and then we have a lot of collaborative pieces up there too, and that's July 21st.
July 21st at Hobnob at Unity Plaza.
Right.
So if people want to look at more of your works individually, where can they find information?
We both have websites. My website is www.heatherblanton.com, and Holly's.
Mine is www.hollyblantonart.net.
And then we both, explore many social media options. We're both on Facebook, and we have Instagram pages. And they're Heather Blanton Fine Art on both of those.
And Pinterest and Twitter and just about everything else. And then we sell out of Stellar's Gallery in San Marco, Ponte Vedra, Plum Gallery in St. Augustine. We both have art in Atlanta. Heather's in Boston. So, and then I have a few permanent exhibits at restaurants like Three Palms Grill in Ponte Vedra and 11th South and Jack's Beach.
I have quite a few public places here. I did the River Place Tower for Gate Petroleum. I did 2 floors of artwork for their concourse and plaza levels I'd say about 9 years ago. And then I did the club section at the
Arena.
Marina,
The Arena.
The Arena, the club section there. And almost every hospital here in town has some of my old photographic work. I just made the jump to painting about 3.5 years ago.
Excellent. Fantastic. So I hope you all come out to Unity Plaza on July 21st. See these outstanding local artists, Holly and Heather Blanton. And for today, it's Ron Episcopo, and I'm out with Have a Buzz.